Hello, Hawk Artist. For this project, I am going to show you how to shade. But first, I'm going to show you how to make this cool wavy line illusion in which we are going to use our colored pencils to add shading. So, what you're going to need first is a piece of drawing paper and a pencil. And you're going to draw from one side to the next a wavy line. Now see, I made it kind of more wavy over here, kind of less, but you want it to be pretty wavy without making it too crazy. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a dot on each end, and then I'm going to sporadically space some dots down my line. Some of these can be spaced farther apart than others. I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So somewhere around that. You can have a few more or a few less. Then what you're going to do is you're going to start at the first dot, and you're going to jump from dot to dot. Now see how my line waves down there? This one I'm just going to go straight across and then jump up. And I'm just going dot to dot to dot, just skipping, kind of like leapfrog. Whee. Okay, so I got my first layer done. I'm just going to continue doing that. Go from dot, another layer, go to dot, and just keep going, repeating the sequence. And it's important that you go from dot to dot and you go all the way down to the dot. That is what's going to give you the optical illusion of these kind of wavy lines. You're going to see later what this is going to look like. If I was thinking, I would have showed you an example of a finished product, but I didn't think about that. And I've already started, so we're just going to roll with it. So you see how I just kind of repeat this process, and each time you want to go from the dot to the dot. Now you may have to go a little bit slow so you don't overlap. You want to keep this neat and clean. So going into your dots, and I am going to just keep filling. I'm going to fill my entire page with these dots. Whoop. Or these lines, I'm sorry. I know what I'm talking about. All right, so see how now that I have more layers, it's starting to kind of like bubble out. And the more wavy your line is when you do this, the more variation in your like these little bubbles that you get. I don't know what they're called. And also the more, like some of these are closer together than others, that's also going to give you some variation in your movement. Okay, so you just keep going from dot to dot to dot. Okay, and you repeat the process. And you're going to do that until you get all the way out to the edge, until you run out of space. And then you're going to come over to the other side and you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to fill your paper. I know it's kind of repetitive, but it looks so cool when you're done. There we go. So just keep going with that. Okay, I'm going to just show you a couple on the other side. So now you're just going to go the opposite way, going from dot to dot. Just jump into the dots. And you want to fill, like I said, fill your entire page. See, that one was kind of straight across. And just keep doing that. Just repeating the process. Jumping to the dots. not too hard. The biggest mistake that people make is that they don't go to each dot, and then so it looks kind of weird. You can't really tell what's happening. The other thing is that like sometimes the line's not wavy enough. So it kind of makes these like little kind of bubbly wavy line illusion. Now one thing you can see here is, whoops, I totally got offline there. I'm gonna fix that so it'll look better. Okay, there we go. So one thing you're gonna notice that happens where you have like a really wavy line and your lines or your dots are close together is they kind of start to run into each other and they'll kind of start to take over. So let me just kind of get to that, and then I'm gonna stop and I'll do the rest of this on a time lapse because otherwise you guys are going to get really bored watching me. And also YouTube doesn't like really long videos. It makes them not load up very good. So anyway, you can kind of see how this one here, these two, eventually are gonna swallow this one. So anyway, I'm gonna switch over to the time lapse because this is already 6.5 minutes. So anyway, go watch the time lapse.